Hi there. Making some progress on the Mustang. Thought it might be a good time to talk a little bit about how the swing rigs are made. I use the swing rig kit that Eric Rosenbaum makes. It's designed for the boat. It's a really good kit and is usable for other boats as well. It's pretty simple to do. It actually takes maybe 20-30 minutes to actually put it all together. You start with this, which is a carbon tube. And this is going to go through the deck into the hull. It's going to sit in the hull and it's going to hold the actual swing assembly. This is the pintle on which the mast is going to rotate, and it's going to fit in this tube. The way it's going to stay in there is through two, see these two small bearings, kind of like this. One of these is a top bearing and one of them goes down in the tube. You can tell the top because it's got a little rim on it here. What you basically do, it's pretty simple. You put the first bearing on the end of the pintle, like this. About like that's fine. The second bearing goes on the top with the lip up, like this. And you kind of space them out like so. This assembly, you can, if you're very careful, glue this in place. I would advise it if you can. This one will fit on the top. You might put just a touch of epoxy to hold it into place. It doesn't always need it in my experience, but it's not a bad idea. You take the mast tube, and this assembly will fit in the tube. It'll slide down, and you can see it poke out the bottom. So now we have a nice ball bearing assembly at the top and another one at the bottom. It's going to hold everything together. It's going to fit in your boat like this. So this is what the mast is going to slide over, and it will spin very nicely on that. If you look at the Mustang, you can see here we've drilled the hole for this tube, and this tube will be epoxied into place about flush with the mast, and it'll fit in there just like so. This should make sure it's straight. It should be angled back about 2 degrees. You want a little bit of rake built in because with the swing rig, it's not like a mast. You can't use a mast ram. So this whole assembly would be epoxied into place. You want to make sure you get it nice and straight with the rest of the boat. But this is the assembly upon which the swing rig is going to go. So that's a pretty easy job right there. After you do that, you have this metal tube, which I just dropped. This metal tube is going to fit over the pintle. Actually, it's a little bit of a tight fit. You need to sand this down just a little bit so that this will fit snugly on it. Once you've done that, and you make sure you have a good fit here, here's your mast, your carbon fiber mast. This metal tube is epoxied into the mast, and you want to leave just a little tiny bit of it. You can see there a little tiny bit of it hanging out the bottom. So that aluminum tube is going to rest on those bearings, and that's what's going to enable it to spin. It'll spin really easily, really nicely that way. Once that is done, you're going to want to put the cross piece on almost to the bottom, about like so. So this would be epoxied into place. We'll have that aluminum tube, there we go, hanging out a little bit. That's going to sit on that bearing assembly, and you're going to have a swing rig that'll spin very easily. It won't get caught, and it'll have very, very low friction. So that's kind of the easy way to build a swing rig. Like I said, it's just a little bit of time. Eric makes these nice masthead cranes. These fit up on the top. You actually use an extender like so, and it fits through the masthead crane like this, and you can adjust the mast to whatever height you need. So once you've decided A, B, C, whatever, then you'll epoxy this into place, and this will be the top of your rig. On the cross tree part here, this is where you're going to have your spars sticking off. One will be the main sheet, and the other will hold the jib. So when you're complete, you'll have a fairly simple arrangement. And I'm working on my B-rig right now, but you can see here The assembly I'm talking about, you can see the little bit of aluminum sticking out of the bottom. Here's the boom coming out of the cross piece, and that goes out to the mainsail, and this is my connects to my sheet here. Working currently on the jib, but you can see the jib boom here, or I should say the jib boom holder or assembly is right here, and the jib boom will attach there. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I'll go into the details of rigging the actual mast once I've put these pieces together. So our next step for the Mustang is we're going to assemble the A-rig. We're going to put these pieces together that I demonstrated, and then when I've got that done and it's time to actually rig the sails, we'll do another video and kind of catch you up on that. Eric has very good instructions for him. He's posted several articles in model yachting online, so it's pretty easy. Getting all the ratios correct is pretty simple. Basically, you want the jib boom to pivot at about 1/4 to 1/3 back from the front. If you've seen some of my previous videos, I had a problem at first. I made the jib boom too long and I couldn't do that. So as we move forward with the Mustang, we're gonna do a little better this time, and we should have a really good rig. But that'll be our next step, and I look forward to catching you up as we get this rig completed and get the boat out on the water. See you next time.